Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for another edition of Let's Talk Chelsea. Got some interesting topics to discuss with you once again. The channel is nearly at 5k subs. I want to thank you guys for the support engagement you've given to the videos this week. It really means the world to me. So we're so close now. So hopefully going to hit 5k within the next couple of days. But let's get into the topics today because of course contracts and the expiry of contracts is a big concern, not only for Chelsea, but for a number of clubs because we don't know when Chelsea's season is going to resume. And Matt Law was reporting about this in the Telegraph this week, and he was talking about Pedro, Willian, Olivier Giroud, Caballero. These are all players whose deals are nearly expired. And of course, if the season goes beyond June the 30th, how are their situations going to work out? Is there going to be maybe an extension to those deals just for this really extreme situation and rare situation? We don't know. But one player whose contract is nearly up and has confirmed he is going to be leaving in the summer is Pedro. He was speaking to Spanish radio yesterday, here reported in the Mirror. Chelsea winger Pedro has confirmed he will leave Stamford Bridge when his contract runs out this summer, though he admits the outbreak is a larger concern for him than his career right now. The 32-year-old moved to West London from Barcelona for £24.3 million in 2015, and he has since made 201 appearances for the Blues, scoring 43 goals and providing 28 assists. Pedro has won the Premier League, FA Cup and Europa League, but the World Cup winner he has confirmed he will leave in the summer. He said, "I'm terminating my contract, but right now it's not the most important thing, nor have I stopped to think about it. The most important thing for everyone is to show solidarity. Whatever happens regarding my future will happen, but right now is not important as we don't even know when we will return to training." I think a lot of us expected this. I think a lot of us expected out of the players whose deals are nearly up, Pedro was going to be one of the ones to move on. It just felt like a very natural sort of end to his Chelsea career. What a quality player, and that has been echoed across social media with Chelsea fans responding to this news. Of course, there are more important things right now, and that is going to have to wait, his departure and sort of the contract situation. But in terms of Pedro and looking back and reflecting on his Chelsea career, I think he will go down as a player that not many fans will have a bad word to say about. And you really can't. This is a quality individual. His professionalism, his class, his work rate, even recently, before football stopped, the impact he was having for Frank Lampard and the impact he was having in Chelsea's team still showed what he can offer you. And I think not only I was there for his debut at the Hawthorns against West Brom, and he was class that day, he really was, and he really came into his own the next season under Conte, which was his best season for Chelsea really, in the title-winning season. He was an essential player, scored some big goals that year. But I think just generally, not only the quality goals he's scored, his first touch, the flicks and tricks he can do. I mean, a rarity at Stamford Bridge. And you think of everything he'd achieved before he arrived at Stamford Bridge, probably one of the most glittering players we've had in truth. And of course, he added to that with Chelsea, winning a Premier League, winning an FA Cup, winning a Europa League, and that Europa League final last year, I think, was a perfect demonstration of why Pedro was so crucial to Chelsea, because at the end of the season, he always came good. He was always one of those players that you could always rely on to find a key goal, and that is something that is rare in football. And I know there's been a lot of critics of him, of course, in terms of his age, of slowing down, not being his best, looking at younger players in that position. But as he's proved under Lampard this season, not playing as much, he can still offer something. And I'm sure he'll go with no ill will. He'll go with some great memories, some astonishing goals as well for Chelsea. Of course, I wish him all the best. I think he'll probably go to the MLS or maybe back to Spain, have a relaxed end to his career, and end on a high, really, because he absolutely deserves it for the quality of player he is. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. What do you think about Pedro? Is there any of you who believe that he should stay for Chelsea? And what are some of your favourite Pedro moments, your favourite goals of his for Chelsea? Let me know in the comments below. But as I was talking about contract talks, this very much is relevant to another player, which is Tammy Abraham. And in Matt Law's article that I referenced before, he spoke about Abraham's contract, and there's been a lot of reports that I've talked about, that many people have talked about, with this 180 grand a week salary that has been reported. Matt Law has said that's untrue. Abraham has not demanded that 180 grand a week salary, or has been asked to be made the club's highest earner. I spoke about this. I do feel that Tammy deserves that contract. But as Matt Law says, and Matt Law is one of the best sources for Chelsea news, when he says something, there's legitimacy to it. He ranks very highly, in my books at least, for Chelsea news. His hit rate is brilliant. He obviously has really good contacts at the club. When he speaks, you listen. And I think this is good for me, not only because of the situation, and hopefully this means that there aren't as many stumbling blocks to Tammy's contract in the future. And it will happen, which I still think it will happen, because I think Chelsea can't let a player like Abraham go at his age and the quality he has. But also, I hope this means that people get off Tammy's back. I've seen so much criticism on social media, making all sort of statements about Tammy and the sort of character he is, questioning his character, questioning that he wants to be greedy and stuff like that. Hopefully this puts all of this nonsense to bed and people get behind Tammy and understand the sort of player we have here and understand the character of Tammy, and I don't question that. And I think that's one of the bad things sometimes about the reports that come out, and if they are proved to be untrue, people make very extreme reactions and assertions about players when, as we found out already, how quickly things change. All of those reports that spark so much extreme reaction have actually turned out to be untrue. So I'd like to see maybe some people retract some of their statements, but of course, in the times we live in, that probably won't happen. But absolutely, I think this is a positive, really, not only for Abraham, hopefully for the club, for getting a contract down the line sorted out, because I think Abraham is going to be a big player for Chelsea in the future. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Does this change the situation for you? Were you one of those people that really got upset when you heard this news and were criticising Abraham? What do you think about that now? Let me know in the comments below. And lastly, I want to talk about Jadon Sancho, the battle for Jadon Sancho. Yes, Sancho's name is going to be one we're going to hear about a lot. And it seems to be a battle between Manchester United and Chelsea for who wants him most and who is going to bring him back to the Premier League if he does return to the Premier League this summer. And Fabrizio Romano has claimed that the Red Devils lead the race for the 100 million rated Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. That was in a stream he done earlier this week. Manchester United had made contact with Borussia Dortmund and Jadon Sancho. This is not that much surprising. We've heard this for the past few months that Man United are very serious of trying to sign Jadon Sancho. As I've stated before, I think it very much is reliant on them getting Champions League football. If they don't get Champions League football, I can't see Jadon Sancho leaving Borussia Dortmund to go to Manchester United. I really do. I think they need Champions League football, and I wouldn't be surprised if in negotiations that is a clause. I'm not going to sign for you unless you get Champions League football, which puts real pressure on Manchester United, because if the season does resume, there is all the possibility in the world that doesn't happen. Which is great for Chelsea if Chelsea get Champions League football, because it would strengthen their negotiating with Jadon Sancho. But there was an Insta comment later on from Fabrizio Romano, who's a very well-respected, highly linked-up journalist in regards to transfers, not ruling out Chelsea's involvement, stating nothing is done. Nothing is done right now. Nothing's been confirmed. And it's in the current times, it's understandable that nothing will be done on a variety of issues across football, because why would they? In the current time, there's so many more important things to be thinking about. But with Jadon Sancho, it's going to be a battle that I think is going to go right down to the wire. I think, as I said, I think that the Premier League season and the outcome of the Premier League season, whenever that is going to be vital in who Jadon Sancho goes towards. I do think Chelsea need to be looking at alternatives, because if Manchester United do lead the race and whatever happens, players can make their minds up very quickly, and there's no guarantee for a player of this extortionate fee is going to come to your club. So I think Chelsea need to be looking at Jeremy Boga again. I think we need to be looking at Leon Bailey. I'd even shout out Emi Buendia from Norwich. Looking at alternatives here to try and see, can Chelsea look somewhere else, have a backup plan? If Jadon Sancho falls through, which it can happen, any transfer can fall through, Chelsea can go in for someone else that potentially be a better buy and can cost a lot less and still help Lampard's system. Yes, Jadon Sancho would be an incredible signing, but Chelsea need to be wise here and think about alternatives as well, because all those players I've mentioned, similar age, and their productivity and some of their stats are incredible, really. So I wouldn't sniff at any of those players signing for Chelsea instead of Jadon Sancho, but this is one we're going to have to wait and see what happens. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter @SonOfChelsea, and I'll see you again.